Alright, welcome to episode 79 of What If Civilization Started Over, and this is going to be what will probably be like a really special episode. Because in today's episode, we are going to be releasing all of the colonies of the defeated nations. Now, the countries who won and were colonial powers are Germany, Ireland, and the Northern Spanish, and their colonies will be being released in future episodes, or just not at all. Except for one, which is the German colony in Northern Australia, because they were fully occupied by the Dutch during the war, and they declared their independence then. And during the peace treaty, the guys were like, no, just let them be. This will also be all the stuff that occurs post-war. So that's going to be kind of part of this, the rebuilding phase. In the next episode, we're going to be going kind of past the rebuilding, and there are things that are going to be happening in the next episode that are kind of linked to what happens here. So yeah, let's go to North America and the Norwegian colony, and look at that first. And what we're going to be breaking away over there. So I guess I could just actually not pause it right now, because the Norwegians don't own anything else over here except they own Jan Mayen. That's British apparently, so I'm going to give that. I don't know who to give that to. Can the British keep it? No, I guess we'll give it to the Shetland Island country. I have no idea. I don't know that the British owned that. Fun. Anyway, yeah, so we can go to the culture layer first, because the nation of Iceland is going to be released, and it's going to be another return of a historical nation being this red country. I don't know why I swear it wasn't that shade of pink. Maybe it was. Anyway, so Iceland has been released. If you look at the culture layer, the culture for Greenland is the same. However, I don't want to make it the same country. So I'm going to give it like a salmony color, which is kind of similar, but there you go, Greenland. Salmon Greenland's weird. So there's too many red countries though, so maybe I change it and make it more like this sort of color. I should have probably thought about this before. There's a lot of red countries, but who cares? Greenland, so yeah, they take over all these islands as well. Neither of these countries is going to be super strong, because just look at where they are. It's like the Arctic. But, Iceland is a fun place to exist, so yeah, I guess see if it's anything important. Probably not though. Anyway, Greenland also takes over Ellesmere Island and Baffin Island, because I have no idea what else I would do with them. I guess give it to whatever Canadian country release. But yeah, this is kind of fun, and it makes like a cool. This is the Gulf of Greenland, isn't it? Or the Greenland Sea, or is it the Labrador Sea? I don't remember. Anyway, there's that, and I'm going to partition up this colony because it's going to take a bit longer. Anyway, I just disappeared for like half an hour or something to have tea, but I'm back now. And yeah, I've drilled some borders for the Norwegian colony. These are kind of based on historical aspects, like, the old Danish country, how they divided the eastern part into 3 sections. I think it's during the breakup of the Orange country or something. Well, the Icelandic, sorry. And then this is the southern group, and they expanded down here, and there's another group over there, but they're kind of like more Swedishy. Anyway, I'll color in these, different groups. So the orange team, they are going to look like this. Orange and Canadian, so there you go. They'll stick over all of these islands. I'm not sure if they really should get this one, but I'll give it to them anyway. And there's a green. Damn it, you stupid. I should probably zoom in a bit more. Green group. Oh, flip's sake. Green one over here and down. Yeah, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit, guys, because I'm kind of stupid apparently. Thank God. Down here in the southeast, there is a blue group. So yeah, this is probably the strongest country they've released so far. Yeah, it's definitely beating Greenland, if that's need to be checked. But both of these green and yellow countries aren't very strong. And then the final one is this bit over here. And I'm just going to go into the culture there and grab the color we got from there, because it's quite nice. It's this bluish sort of, I don't know what shade of blue that is. Aquamarine? Is it that? I don't know, like teal or something. Anyway, they exist now. And now there's one final group, and they're kind of really cool, I think, because it's the nation of Newfoundland. They'll be returning from the dead. They were the first American country to ever exist, unless you count Iceland, but I don't. So Newfoundland's back. That's pretty fun. I'm not sure if they were like a darker purple, so I'll see after this if they were. I'm not entirely sure. They might be. Yeah. Anyway, they're back, so that's really fun. And now all that's left to do is capital city, so I'm just going to grab this color, because it's not the same yellow that was used on here. Because originally I did this on Microsoft Paint, and they've got a different base yellow. So, oh well, I guess I could just change it. But I didn't think of doing that. Anyway, over to Iceland. I forgot where their capital was, but it's going to be like here now. We'll see. Maybe I'll move it back. The Greenlanders obviously put theirs in the south. I mean, they could put it over here where Nuke is in real life, but oh well. The orange country only has one, so they're going to put theirs in that one city, which is pretty unfortunate. The green team will put theirs on the coast, and the blue country is going to put theirs down here in the south. You guys are going to put yours like up here, and this bluish sort of country, I'm not sure where they would put theirs. Maybe by this lake. So let's have that, I suppose. And here's all the capitals so far for North America. And now we move across to the British colonies, skipping the German one because that one's staying intact. And yeah, I'm going to divide up this now. Alright, so I completely forgot, because normally I like to do the outlines like I just did with that, but I forgot to do that here. I also forgot to go look what the capital of Iceland was, and this country, but it's fine. We've made a load of new countries, so let's give them all capitals. I might change the color of this one, and this one I might make more red when this stuff gets released, because I don't think I'm going to make any red countries over here. So, yeah, it might change in color and become more red. I want you to be able to actually see it, because I used the culture layer for this. As you can see, the culture here is red, and Germany's red as well. So that's why that came about. Anyway, capital time. Yes, quite so. Anyway, the capital of this sort of like greenish sort of country. I think they had a capital when they were a colonial country, and it was one of these cities. I think it was this one. So I'm going to give them their capital there. Texas is going to put its capital in Texas, because of course it will. It's going to put its capital there. The yellow country, just a lot of sand or something. I'll look at the real life layer and see if I know about any of the states that exist here. What? Where do the states go? Oh, provinces. Silly me. Any of these important things? I don't know. Any of them nice places to live? Maybe this one. Let's put the capital here. This looks right, and all the cities are trying to leave this state, whatever this one is. Anyway, moving up north. Oh god, it's horrible there. What did I do? No, it's just in a line in North America. That's fine. Let's just get rid of that for a second. The pinkish country is going to put their capital here in the middle. The bluish country up here, which I nearly had united with this one, but I changed it. They're going to put their capital in the middle. The green one will put theirs in Salt Lake City. And this one's, of course, going to put theirs in Vancouver, because they are the Vancouver ethnic color. So there's that. Also, Hawaii, I realized didn't have a capital. And like, I know I didn't give any of the other Chinese countries capitals, but Hawaii, whilst I'm here, there's yours. I also completely forgot about them. Like, just completely, because they're right in the middle of the ocean, so nobody cares. Anyway, on to the Dutch. This one should be kind of easy in some parts, and then up here, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do. But the Caribbean's kind of fine. Alright, so I'm back. I've drawn a lot of divisions of the Dutch Empire. I've kind of realized, like, you know what these countries look like. You've looked at them for like, I don't know, 20 episodes or something. So the Dutch Empire is all of this stuff, and then the Caribbean territories as well, but not the ones that have capitals, because, you know, I haven't given these guys capitals, so should be kind of obvious. Anyway, yes, the first Dutch country is this sort of, whatever it's, Californian one. They're going to put their capital right over here. I think Los Angeles is up there, but the capital is like something really random anyway. I forgot what it was called, because it's such a random place. These guys are going to put theirs here. In purple country is going to put theirs there. The blue country put theirs in this city, and this other blue country is going to put theirs in the center, because that's where all Mexican cities are in real life. The Yucatan country is going to put theirs right up here. Is Merida over there? I put them all in the cities layer. Give me a sec. Damn it. I think I put them all in the right place. I don't know if this is in the right place, but hopefully. And then Nicaragua is going to put their capital. They've only got 2 cities, which is kind of sad, over there. And then Cuba, which owns all the Dutch Caribbean territories, which is kind of cool. They're going to put theirs just somewhere on the coast, because all their cities are on the coast. And now we can move into the French colony, because we've already done the Carthaginians like a while ago. Alright, so now I've divided up the French Empire. I mean, it takes me a while to do all this, so yeah, you guys are like, oh my god, that was immediate, but no, it does genuinely take me kind of a long time to do all these divisions. I also don't really do them until the cities. I just do what hopefully looks nice, and then I've really not revised these borders at all in terms of like actually making them look nice. So the purple Panama country is going to put their capital obviously in Panama City. Colombia is going to put theirs, maybe you can put yours up here, that's cool. The Ecuadorian country is going to put theirs over here. We can go over to the orange country in Peru. They're going to put this kind of, is Lima there? I'm not sure. And then the South Peruvian country, which apparently has a lot more cities. I think there's like mountains. Well, there's definitely mountains. But like gold and silver mines here, so that's probably why I gave them loads of cities. They're gonna put their capital over in this area, and then we have one more country to release, and it's the amazing country that is the Galapagos Island. Yeah, Galapagos Islands. That's kind of weird. I was on the wrong layer there for a second, but it's fine. So yeah, the Galapagos Islands become their own nation. There's no major cities on this island for some reason. Why wouldn't there be cities here? Are there no cities? There we go. I was really confused. I will put the capital here, and then we'll just put a major city. Damn it, stupid. I don't think this program likes me very much. It's like mean. I also might. There's a lot of oceanic islands the French own out here. I might just make one big country for them. I'm not really sure what I want to do with those. So, yeah, I'll do that. But then I'll go divide up the Brazilian colony. So just while I'm here, I've made this blue country in the ocean. It's basically just like all of the island. You see that? No, for some reason you can't. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, it's all the islands in that area, so that's fun. Cool. Did I just remove the capital? I think so. Anyway, over to Brazil. I'll do that now. Alright, so now I've divided up this region. The unfortunate thing about this is that there's no cities in the green country, so I'm just going to give them one, like somewhere. We'll give them one here. Maybe they should have some more. I'm not really sure. I'll give them another one over there. There you go. Have two. I'm going to put the capital in the city in the west, because it's probably got some like rivers that run from the Andes Mountains. But this country, along with all the... Damn it. What did I do? This country, along with all the other Amazonian countries, probably aren't doing that great economically. Heading over to the yellow country, I've updated their cities because there should be more in southern Brazil. But they get their capital here, and the blue country, who I haven't given all the islands that they need to have. I know. You can have your capital over there in the west, and you also get all these islands as well. Hooray for you. Argentina didn't break away from the blue country. They might in the future. Well, they will. But there you go. Here is our Americas. It looks kind of crazy. Lots of fun countries though. So this should be pretty interesting for the future of the series. Lots of pretty small, like blobby countries, but they look like blobs because there's no story connected to them and no personal connection to them either. Because that's kind of how it works. But there should be as the series goes on in the future. So that'll be fun. Anyway, let's go around to Libya because that is going to be a pretty easy colony to release. It's just going to be released as one thing. So I might give it this color. That sounds like fun. Yeah, there you go, Libya. Nice, quick and easy. I also made power rankings for this episode because I said I would in the last episode. So I'm going to do that in a second. Just after I've given Libya their capital city. There. Alright, cool. You've got your capital. Power rankings. Let's do that. The number one most powerful country in the world, becoming the 9th country to be ranked number 1 in the world. It's Russia, followed by the Arabic Union, Germany, and then Britain, although Britain's probably going to fall a few paces, as nations like Blue China and Blue Spain and Blue North Africa, as in Carthage, become a lot stronger. There's also France, Indochina, and then Pakistan, making its way into the top 10 for the first time. Well, so I think that's the same for Indochina. But there's not a whole load of super strong countries. I mean, 11th is Italy, and 12th is like maybe Ireland or Romania, Korea. There's not a whole load of super strong countries left in the world. Maybe like green northern India. Some of the countries that we release will be strong, like the Brazilian ones and a few of these American ones, like Texas and the East Coast one, and maybe even Vancouver and the Californian one. They'll be pretty strong. Maybe the blue countries over here in Canada. Some of these Canadian countries, once they get released, will be quite strong, but they haven't been released yet, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, now to French West Africa, which should be a lot of fun to release. Some really horrible countries to live in over here. Alright, so I'm not entirely sure I love these borders, but we're going to have to live with them anyway. You know, they're not perfect, but oh well. I mean, this area is going to be pretty, like, volatile, so they might change anyway. So, like, this country I think could probably be quite unstable, just because of how long it is, and, like, the different environments in it. Anyway, so let's do cities, just because, I mean, for me, this video has taken a while to record. But for you guys, it's been pretty quick. Well, I mean, it's like 14 minutes, so no, not really. Anyway, let's start over here in the westernmost country, which is this blue one. They're going to put their capital over here. The yellow country is going to put theirs right in the center, around these lakes. The pink country's only got one city, so they'll put theirs here. The green country is the returning green country. There was a blue one in Senegal, but they're kind of under the control of the Carthaginians. They're not coming back. The orange one puts their capital over here. The brown country puts theirs around here. Nigeria is going to put theirs over here. And like Gabon or whatever this is puts theirs over there. You, pink country, are going to put yours there. And then you'll put yours here. But you don't actually have a major city. So I'm going to invent you one. There you go. Have that. Nice. Anyway, so the French West African colony has now been entirely divided up into all these new countries. Lots and lots of straight lines. Well, actually, there's not been too many in the borders, actually. Probably lots of the southern stuff is like old borders, and before the countries didn't used to make their borders with straight lines, but the colonial guys did. So there's that, and now we can move on to the few last colonies. Anyway, I also just remembered that I didn't give a capital city to the Grand Nation of whatever these islands are, like Gulf of Guinea island countries. So they can get their capital on this island over here. But I've also realized I'm going to do like a part 2 to this. I mean, the video is still going to continue. It's just that at the current moment, I'm going to stop recording because I've been recording for ages. But so far, I mean, the borders look pretty cool, I would say. Yeah, see you in like an instant, but for me, it's like a few days later. It's been a while since I recorded the rest of this, like as a few days ago when I did all of these borders, but I'm back now and I've drawn all of these countries in the south. So the Dutch colony has been divided into 7 new countries. Yeah, loads of cool ones. They've got capital cities and stuff. Not many cities really in any of these countries, but now I'm going to move on to South Africa. And I might also do Ethiopia in one, just so that I can finish off Africa. Because, of course, Egypt, this East African colony, and Madagascar are all staying with their colonial countries. So, yeah, I'll do that now. So, first off, I'm going to come down here to South Africa because I've drawn loads of borders for this area. Don't worry about the religion maps here. It's not going to be irrelevant. Anyway, so there's a ton of new countries in South Africa, like a Namibian, kind of Zimbabwe, maybe, I don't know. What part of South Africa is that? Because its capital is not in Botswana, but most of the country is. There's Mozambique, and then 2 South African countries, kind of like real life, but probably not really. Like religiously, it's all. Oh yeah, don't worry. Religiously, it's all pretty European. I should probably like alter the religion map slightly. And then we've also got the Kerguelen Islands getting their independence because why not? And then moving up here to Ethiopia, you can see it's an absolutely disgusting mess, and that's because Ethiopia is actually a disgusting mess of ethnic and religious problems. So, yeah, that's why Ethiopia looks like this. And I'm going to try and make some good borders for this area. Because there's a big Indian group down here in the south, but they've got areas like this bit, which is actually connected, so I don't know why it's not. But the main problem is this area over here. There's a huge Hijaz region in the middle. And then there's 3 major blue bit here, there's a blue Carthaginian bit here, another bit here, and another bit down here in the south. And the Carthaginian people are kind of worried they're not going to get the stuff they want, because it's all incredibly spread out. And then the rest of everything else is Mesopotamian religion, so we're going to see how I divide up this. So far I've just made a Hijaz bit, but in case you're wondering what it kind of looks like, with all the bits coloured in, just for some reason I didn't colour it in. Here's what that looks like. I mean, it's so disgusting what I've created here. The rest of Africa is actually kind of okay ethnically, or at least this colonial territories, because there weren't really any native people. I mean, Libya and East Africa is a huge mess, and so is Nigeria as well, but we'll worry about that in the future. Don't worry about this. This is a big mess as well, but Europe's that bit's horrible. Europe's kind of okay. Anyway, I'm drawing borders. Alright, so the first other 2 countries we've released are this major Carthaginian area and then also this coastal Indian area, so they've both got their independence. And over here looking at, let's grab this, looking at this region, we can see that this bit's pretty populated with Indian religions, so they're trying to use that to maybe connect up this region and also like the rest of this bit and create a second more mixed Indian state along the coast over here, which will be largely successful, creating this other Indian country along the east coast, and then we now have to deal with all these other small little bits around here. Now looking at this large area here, we can see there's a much larger Indian religion group than this small section we've got here, and there's also this other bit that didn't get shown up. There's a lot of other very small Carthaginian groups. I don't think I said Indian, I mean Carthaginian. There's just lots of small bits of Carthaginian religion, but they're not really going to get represented. So part of the treaty allows for this territory to be expanded and created into its own country. So we're going to do something like this, and then I need to pick a new color for it. Also green, orange, blue. What other colors are there? I've got yellow. There's already yellow guy over here. Purple. Cool. There's already quite a few purples in this area, but sure. Purple. And now, as part of that treaty, we see this territory up in the north be forced into the Mesopotamian country, Mesopotamian religion country up over here. So that happens, and now this country is kind of fine, except for this province over here, as this province is highly contested between the Carthaginian, Hejaz, and Mesopotamian religions, and in the end, the Hejaz religion ends up taking over the province, so they will be able to annex this, and now that kind of makes everyone happy. So everyone's kind of good. There's just this bit up here in the north. I don't know what color to make it. I don't know, blue, maybe? Do you make it blue? Sure, why not? Blue. You can be blue, and yeah, big Mesopotamian country, and now there's only one little bit left, which is this territory over here, and also this bit down there. So no one's really sure what to do with that. So I'm going to partition it. Religiously, this area, I've also colored in the Carthaginian bit. It's very diverse with Carthaginian in the south, barely any Indian, mostly just Carthaginian Mesopotamian split. Due to how diverse this region is, they come up with probably the worst idea, which is to just give the Carthaginians this territory so they don't have to annex loads of other, like, ethnically different territory, and this territory, I said territory a lot, this area over here is just allowed to become its own country, which it will do, as it looks something like this. So now we can do capital cities for all these areas. Okay, so that's how we divided up all the capital cities of these countries. There's been more of an emphasis placed on putting the capitals in areas that are like ethnically just completely surrounded by their own religion, which is what I've kind of tried to do. As you can see, well, actually, no, you can't. No, you can't. Never mind. Oh well, yeah. The capitals are kind of in would be like their own sort of ethnic territory, but the green team, I might change theirs just because it's in such a horrible spot. Like it's so close to the border of these other countries. So yeah. Anyway, this is the map of Africa that we have at the moment. There's like 4 other countries on this that aren't African nations, being the Iberians, Irish, Germans, and oh wait, Carthage is of course an African country. But like an Arabic Union instead, we'll just substitute them and I can still be right. So there we go. Yeah, there's that. And now we can go to Southeast Asia, which should be fairly easy. And also there's India as well. I'll do that. I'll just change the color of that country, don't worry. So in the midst of World War II, the whatever they're called, the northern Spanish country wanted to get these guys. Could you stop doing that? No, I wanted to get these guys as a part of their own colony, their own Indian colony, which they tried to spread the Spanish religion to without huge amounts of success, but like it didn't go terribly. And unfortunately, the nation declared its independence. However, they will have some sway over the peace treaty in that they will be able to dictate where they put their capital cities. So they're going to, of course, put it in Spanish territory because that means that during this country's existence, these Spanish people have more control over the country, which is really what these guys want, just because they kind of mean like that. I don't know. It's not great. But there you go. And this is now... damn it, what did I do? I did it on the cities list. Silly me. Why did I do that? Oh, I know which city it is. It's fine. I'm stupid. There we go. There's your city. So alright, so there's a new purple country. I just like the purple in this region, so I kept it there. That's the entire reason. And yeah, we have our newest Indian nation. Will the other Indian colony get independence? Probably fairly soon. But there's that. I'm pretty happy with this. And now there's this entire region. And first off, we need to do a couple of capital cities. So the Borneo country will put theirs right over here. Going over to Papua New Guinea. We'll get to you in a second. You're going to be doing some interesting stuff, mate. And China's Australian colony. You're going to be putting yours right over here. And fun. And now we've got a couple more Australian and Southeast Asian colonies, so I'll do those. Alright, so this is the division of Southeast Asia. So there's a big Sumatran country in the north, then there is a southern Sumatran country, then there's a Norwegian, like Java colony, but they've taken over southern Sumatra. Because this country, despite being majority Indian religion, is run by a European religion elite, because all these countries are going to be really, really badly set up. So that's going to be fun, and it should be fun into the next episode. I don't know, this episode might be kind of long, but it's like an interesting one. You don't get episodes like this. I mean, you're probably never going to get an episode like this ever again. So I'm grateful for it, man. But this country, they're going to put their capital. It's kind of like it's a more even split one. They're going to put their capital over here. The green country, which is now fairly like anti-European, they're going to put theirs over here. The pink country, which is run by, as I said before, some very European-y blokes, they're going to put their capital over here. There is the southern Borneo country, which is kind of like the Oman color, because I was missing Oman. They're going to put their capital over here. Then we have this country who is very anti-European. They only have one island, which is European religion, and they're going to put their capital in the northern part of this island. Then there is the Sulawesi country, who has this island over here, because religiously it's more joined to this territory. I mean, so is the rest of this province. To be fair, maybe I should have split this island more. I might just go do that. Part of this is I'm just trying to make like the most cursed borders I possibly can, because I feel like it's right that these territories should be absolute messes following the end of colonialism, and then this yellow place doesn't have any cities at all. So they're going to put their capital sorry, on this island over here. So yeah, they can have that. I don't know what my accent's doing at the moment. Anyway, there you go. Fun. So now all of Southeast Asia is independent countries, apart from the Philippines, but don't worry about that. Indochina, though, they look really cool. The problem with Indochina is they have just absorbed like a load of other religious groups. But don't worry about it. They're a mess religiously anyway, so they'll be fine. And there we go. Now we can move on to Australia, and also I might just leave Papua New Guinea for the next episode. But here's what the religious map of Papua New Guinea looks like. So it's going to be interesting what happens in the next episode. This country was also left by the Chinese, so they're going to put their own capital city in this city. Oh, damn it, you stupid. This city over here, because it is pretty securely within Chinese religious territory. But yeah, we'll see what happens to Papua New Guinea next time. And now it's just the Oceanic and Australian territories, because that's the proper way to pronounce Australia. Alright, so here we go. I've divided the German colony as well. I'm not sure whether it was clear this colony would be getting its independence, but during the war and its occupation by the Dutch Empire, this nation declared its independence. This is also, of course, a great example of an ethnic mess. Well, not really ethnic, because it's more religious. We have a culture there. Oh, I forgot that. Doesn't matter. This is complicated enough. But yeah, I forgot. I divided up into 3 different colonies. But there's the Eastern Territory over here, the Central Territory, which is more Indian, and then the Western Territory, which is also European. But unfortunately, both the European bits are fairly split, so that's a shame. Anyway, let's make some cities. So the capital of this country is going to be up here in the north. You're going to put yours around this city, and you can put yours over here. We've got the 2 southern countries which broke away entirely on their own. So we have the Dutch one putting their capital here, and the British one putting their capital somewhere on the east coast. So there's that. The New Zealanders also got their own country right there, and now we have our 3 island nations being New Caledonia. You can't really see that country's capital, Vanuatu, I mean, and Fiji. So there we go. Those are all the nations that I needed to divide up, and we have a fully, well, not fully, but a mostly decolonized world from all the different colonial powers that lost World War, whatever it was called. 2. There we go. I mean, Africa's a huge mess. There's a lot of countries in Africa. South America has a lot from the Carthaginian split, and North America looks really, really strange because there's so many in Mexico for some reason. But there you go. Here is the division of the world. Ethiopia is definitely something that's making Africa look weird. Yeah, I mean, Ethiopia is really weird looking. And yeah, I guess we'll see how this affects the series going forward. There might be a lot of wars into the future. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.